Okay, students. So here we are discussing the ultrastructure of an animal cell. Ultrastructure refers to the structure of a cell that can be seen using an electron microscope. This figure here shows to you the generalized structure of an animal cell when an electron microscope is used. Generalized animal cell means that all the organelles and structures mentioned here will not be present in a single cell at the same time, but generalized cell shows you that all these structures are present eventually in various cells of the animal, and they can be seen in the electron microscope. So this one is the idealized cell having all these structures. So starting off from the nucleus, you can see the nucleus is appear to be having nucleolus, chromatin, nuclear pore is very much visible. The nuclear envelope looks like two membranes. This is a distinctive feature. These features are distinctive as compared to as you compare them with the light microscope image. So keep referring back this image with the light microscope with a very with a very high quality light microscope, as well as the one with where you viewed it using a 400 magnification. So these are the three different magnifications that you should be very familiar with. Then going clockwise, you can see the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is present right adjacent to the nuclear envelope. And then you have mitochondria. You can just see the finger-like projection cristae within the mitochondria. And all the mitochondria look like rod-like structures. There is one mitochondria here in this region which looks like a circular region because it is rotated at another angle, and it's looking a bit different because it is in a different direction as compared to the rest of the mitochondria. So this section that was taken for the cell, this particular mitochondria is a bit in a different plane. Then we have lysosome. You can see lysosome in the black line outside. The lysosome represents a membrane, and inside it is having hydrolytic enzyme. We'll come to the functions later. Then there is a centrosome with two centrioles close together to the nucleus and at right angles to each other. The cylindrical structures which are perpendicular to each other, these are the centrioles, and the region around them is called as the centrosome. There are microvilli which are the extension of the cell surface membrane. You can see Golgi vesicles on the Golgi bodies, and then you can see microtubules radiating from the centrosome and traveling all along the cell. And there are ribosomes which are present free in the cytoplasm, and the ones which are attached to the rough ER. These are all ATS ribosomes. And then the cell surface membrane is mentioned, cytoplasm is mentioned, and then finally smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Although smooth endoplasmic reticulum looks like to be quite away from the nucleus, but actually it also originates from the nuclear envelope only. So this is how the animal cell looks like in an electron microscope. This image here actually is a TEM. TEM refers to transmission electron microscope, in which the electron beam transmits through the specimen and produces a grayscale image of the inside of these structures. The other is the scanning electron microscope, which is used for the surface studies of this particular structure. So this is a TEM. You can see this is a grayscale diagram, and this is an interpretive drawing of the same. The following slides are just how just actually tell you how one cell is different from the other. You can just go through these yourself because they pretty much cover up what background knowledge you should be having from your previous classes to reach to this A level. Now coming to nucleus. Nucleus is in this diagram magnified 7,500 times. You can see the nuclear pore, you can see the nuclear envelope, you can see the nucleolus. These three parts of the nucleus are very well visible, and the nuclear pore here allows exchange of materials between the nucleus and the cytoplasm. The nuclear envelope separates the environment of cytoplasm from the nucleus. You know, cytoplasm is the region where chemical activities are occurring, so the DNA can get damaged from those chemical reactions, so it is prevented from the chemical exposure by the nuclear envelope. And then there is nucleolus. Nucleolus is composed of DNA and proteins, and the function of this nucleolus, this cluster here, is to produce ribosomes. So ribosomes are produced by the nucleolus, and they get transported out of the nuclear pore, and they go to the cytoplasm, where they may be suspended freely, or they may get attached to these rough ER. You can see this cisternae, these structures, these are rough ER, and they are continuous with the nuclear envelope. In the same diagram, you can see two type of chromatins as well. This lighter gray here is the euchromatin, the true genes, the active genes, the one which is towards the corner. This is the heterochromatin. Heterochromatin means inactive genes. Inactive genes are those which the cell will not need at that time, and active genes refer to those genes which the cell will need for functionality in that particular phase or in that particular tissue. This diagram here is a rough endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is magnified 17,000 times. And this is again a transmission electron micrograph. You can see this is the terminal end of the nucleus, and these are the cisternae of the rough ER, and the ribosomes, ATS ribosomes are attached to it. They carry out protein synthesis. The cisternae of rough ER, what are cisternae? You should know the definition. They are membrane-bound flattened sacs, and they transport the proteins to the Golgi body. The nucleus and nuclear envelope are visible as well. So moving on, this is how your rough ER and smooth ER are present in close proximity to the nucleus. You can see this structure here. Plus you can also see that there are vesicles of various sizes which are originating from the rough ER, and they are pinching off, they are going ahead in the cytoplasm to some distant sites. And there are similar vesicles of various sizes originating from the smooth ER, and also they are moving out of the smooth ER and going elsewhere. These are the false color TEM of rough ER and smooth ER, as you can see here. So why do we see the transport of vesicles from rough and smooth ER? Because this rough ER and this smooth ER, it can transport its product to Golgi ahead. So this you can see is the vesicle carrying the product of rough ER ahead, and this is the vesicle which has pinched off from the smooth ER. It will take its product to the Golgi. Rough ER, what's the function? It synthesizes protein. Is having ATS ribosomes, and once the protein is synthesized, the polypeptide then enters inside the cisternae of the rough ER. It is enclosed in a vesicle. The vesicle pinches off and goes ahead. What about smooth ER? Smooth ER carries out detoxification. It's used for spheroid synthesis as well as cholesterol synthesis. It also pinches off into similar vesicles and send these vesicles to the Golgi. Next is the ribosome. The 4 points mentioned here in ribosomes are dealing with the chapter 6, so I won't discuss these, so you can skip these as well now for now. What you need to learn regarding ribosomes is that there are two types of ribosomes, 70S and 80S ribosome. S actually represents the rate of sedimentation, and it reflects the size of the ribosome. 70S ribosomes are smaller, and 80S ribosomes are larger. 70S ribosomes have a diameter of 20 nanometer, and ATS ribosomes, which are larger, they have a diameter of 25 nanometer. Both the ribosomes are composed up of ribosomal RNA and proteins. They lack membrane. Either of these ribosomes, if you look at their structures, they have two subunits, a larger subunit and a small subunit, and this is completely made up of proteins and ribosomal RNA. Where was this ribosome synthesized? It was synthesized by the nucleolus. This is, I think, we discussed earlier. This is the Golgi complex. You can see Golgi complex is composed of saucer shaped like sacs. They are also cisternae. So the cisternae that pinched off initially from the rough ER and the smooth ER is delivered to the Golgi, and it fuses with the Golgi and cause the cisternae of the Golgi to grow. Golgi allows modification, sorting, packaging, and transport of the products of rough ER and smooth ER to different parts of the cell. So you can see this vesicle, it just fused with the cisternae of Golgi, delivered the product of ER, either the rough ER or the smooth ER, to the Golgi. What will the Golgi do? It has just collected it. It will modify, package, and sort the product. It will enclose the product, and another vesicle will pinch off from here, and it will start to move ahead towards its destination, either within the cell or outside the cell. Golgi complex can be visible under light microscope, but very high power only. ER products you can recall: rough ER and smooth ER. Rough ER synthesizes proteins, and smooth ER synthesizes lipids, or the enzymes that carry out detoxification. In plants, the additional function of Golgi is to synthesize sugars that can be converted to cell wall components. This diagram here sums up how the rough ER is originating actually from the having the proteins that actually originate from various amino acids, and the vesicle is transported to Golgi. How the Golgi then transport the vesicle either within the cell or outside the cell, and this is where the proteins can be used. Lysosomes are the Golgi vesicles only, but these Golgi vesicles have up to 50 different hydrolytic enzymes that can carry out various functions of digesting almost all the kind of biological molecules that can be given to them. This diagram, 55,000 times magnified, shows to you membrane of lysosome enclosing this orange structure. This orange thing here actually is the hydrolytic enzymes, and these greenish yellowish structures here. These are the various structures of the cell in various stages of being degraded. Lysosome can carry out autophagy. Autophagy means digestion of old and worn out defunct organelles which are not functional or have reduced functionality. So they are to be replaced by newer organelles. The old organelles fuse with the lysosome, and the enzymes of the lysosome just kill away that particular old organelle. Lysosome can also carry out the process of autolysis, which means that the organelle can cause the cell to commit suicide, which is referred to as the programmed cell death or apoptosis. You don't really need to learn the term of apoptosis or programmed cell death, but yes, autolysis should be kept in mind. It means that lysosome can fuse with all the organelle one by one, killing each, degrading the structures altogether, and eventually bursting and causing the cell to die as well. It is performing an important role in phagocytosis, growth, as well as how the sperm actually penetrates the egg. This diagram here sums up how the rough ER, Golgi, and the lysosome and everything is just coming together. So this particular diagram refers to you the entire sequence of events of how this is occurring. So lysosomes, the diameter is about zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.5 micrometer. This diagram here basically sums up how white blood cells are carrying out phagocytosis. This bacteria, which is these are bacteria present outside the cell. They are engulfed by the phagocyte. The engulfed vesicle is called as a phagosome. You can see the bacteria is enclosed and wrapped in a membrane, and this vesicle will be traveling inside the cell away from the cell membrane, and it is traveling ahead. And then there is a lysosome carrying hydrolytic enzymes, and this is enclosed in a membrane as well. Both these will fuse together, the phagosome and the lysosome, to form a structure called phagolysosome. So in the phagolysosome, the lysosomal enzymes start to digest out this particular bacteria, and then it kills it altogether. The digested bacteria will have nutrients such as amino acids, glucose, and fats, and various other compounds that the cell can use for its own benefit. So it will just extract out those, assimilates, and it can reuse them in its own cytoplasm. The vesicle, which will be carrying the debris, will now start to move towards the cell membrane. So it goes to the cell membrane, it fuses with the cell membrane, and it causes the debris to be released out of the cell by the process of exocytosis. So this covers up the organelle still here.